This is a story of how a farmer accidentally injected himself with animal antibiotics, which led to the consideration of a lower leg amputation to stop the spread of antibiotics to his organs against the race of time. Let me introduce you to our protagonist. David, a 40-year-old cattle rancher, found himself in an unlikely pickle that he would never have imagined. He dedicated his entire life to the table job of raising cattle. But on that dusky day, destiny had something else in store for David as he set out to vaccinate 3 calves on a seemingly ordinary afternoon. Armed with a monoject syringe and a bovine antibiotic Micotel 300, he ventured into the lot, unaware that his life was about to take a dramatic turn. With the first 2 calves vaccinated, he moved on to the 3rd one, unaware of the misfortune that would soon await him. As he reached out to open the doors of the livestock cage, fate took an unexpected turn. The calf lunged forward, flinging the doors wide open as disaster struck. The steel handle, propelled by the force of the opening doors, collided with David's arm, driving the needle deep within his flesh. The injection had hit the medial inner thigh, administrating the dosage into the great saphenous vein, which took the antibiotic straight to his heart. The burning sensation immediately took hold, spreading to his leg like raging fire. In this dire situation, every second mattered. Soon, David's wife had just seen what had happened, and her heart pounded as she sprang into action, calling the Poison Control Center for guidance. With their advice ringing in her ear, she immediately applied ice on the injection site and decided to take David to the nearest emergency room. The journey to the hospital was a race against time as David's condition deteriorated rapidly. Waves of pain radiated through his thigh and his left leg swelled before his eyes. But that was just the beginning of the nightmare. As he arrived to the local hospital, his vital signs veered to the edge. When they examined the syringe, it was empty. It was estimated that 5 cc had been injected into his leg, almost equivalent to a 600-pound calf, as each calf required 7 cc. And the medical team battled to stabilize him. But the situation escalated even further, with convulsions and chest pain racking his body. His heart rate began to speed up rapidly, known as tachycardia, causing an abnormal heart rhythm. The main function of the veins is to take blood back to the heart. It was clear that immediate action was necessary. Faced with a critical decision, the doctors considered the unnecessary of deciding to perhaps amputate his leg. Could removing his leg reduce the spread of Micotel to his body and vital organs? But the antibiotics had already spread to his legs, rendering the amputation an unlikely solution. As the clock ticked, David's loved ones grappled with the fear of the unknown. The news was grim, and they were prepared to prepare for the worst. But deep down, a glimmer of hope remained. And then, a ray of light pierced the darkness. You see, the mother of a Nebraska cattleman who had previously lost his life to a similar situation heard the news and came to the rescue. And she pushed through with determination to reach out to the medical team to provide him with vital information that could save David's life. She scanned and sent them a copy of the November 2003 Veterinary Drugs Directorate of Canada recommendations to Canadian hospitals on how to manage cardiac reactions caused by Micotel. The tides soon began to turn. After days of intensive care and relentless monitoring, David's condition began to improve. He had made a recovery against all the odds. He was soon discharged from hospital and determined to return to work, to the thing that he loved doing. Though marked with muscle soreness and lingering fatigue, our cattle rancher soon was able to take the strength to make a recovery and to return back to work in full capacity. Now let's delve into the analysis and synopsis of this extraordinary story. It's crucial to understand the factors at play and the implications of the antibiotics that changed our rancher's life forever. The calves involved in this incident weighed roughly around 600 pounds each, highlighting the scale of the rancher's operation. These young bovines required antibiotics to combat respiratory disease, specifically dairy calf pneumonia, DCP. Now let's examine the instrument that unwittingly became the catalyst for this harrowing experience. The syringe in use that day was a 20cc Monoject 200, equipped with a 16 gauge, which was 1 inch long. The antibiotic in question that was used, Micotel, contains telmicocin phosphate. It was developed as a powerful tool to combat bovine respiratory disease. Micotel is cheap to develop as it requires less labor due to its low volume dosage, designed for single injection therapy. It aimed to reduce stress on the animals while effectively targeting pathogenic bacteria. Micotel was an absolute game changer. It has the ability to reach optimal concentration levels within the lung tissue, and it's effective to be maintained for 3 to 4 days. However, hidden within the folds of this life-changing medication lays an unforeseen danger. Micotel was known to be hazardous to humans, as our rancher became to be aware. But what he didn't know is that the Micotel antibiotics had the potential to cause fatalities without any antidotes available. In fact, almost a year prior, another farmer lost his life by accidentally injecting himself with Micotel. The stark reality is that the consequences of mishandling this antibiotic can be dire. As healthcare professionals, it is our duty to emphasize the importance of proper handling and administration. Making sure you use the correct dosages, the correct injection techniques, and the correct syringes can greatly mitigate the risk of using powerful medications such as Micotel. Remember, Elanco, the sole producer of Micotel, distributes this antibiotic solely to licensed vets through authorized distributors. Everyone should be aware of the dangers of Micotel, even people who come into close contact with animals, such as farmers. Now let's address some recommendations that can really help similar accidents from occurring in the future. Recommendation number 1. Vets and animal health distributors should require purchasers of Micotel to sign an information fact sheet. This fact sheet should explicitly state the potential fatality risks associated with this antibiotic, and that there is no antidote available. Recommendation number 2. Safe handling procedures during all phases of animal treatment. Using syringes which actually have a safety cap that slides from the top to the bottom once the injection has been given is a good way to go about. And once you're done with the injection, you don't need it any longer, so you can throw it away, and it should be placed into a sharps container. Finally, recommendation number 3. Urging vets and cattlemen to use less hazardous antibiotics when practical. While Micotel has been widely used for its effectiveness and lower costs, alternatives could easily be explored. The absence of an antidote for Micotel, as mandated by the FDA, poses a great challenge. And it goes even further. There are many vets and family members who've been highlighting the need for other options to use other than Micotel that achieve similar results. Thank you for joining me on this insightful journey. Don't you forget to subscribe to this channel and spread awareness by sharing this video with friends and family. Stay tuned for more compelling stories and foot care insights.